The year is 1908. Hollowstone Plantation sits beneath suffocating summer heat, its windows shuttered like eyelids hiding a nightmare. And then, on August 17th at exactly 3:14 in the morning, a scream tears through the fields. A boy has vanished. One who was never documented, never acknowledged, never supposed to exist. Local lawmen search the massive estate, but there are no footprints, no broken doors, no signs of struggle. Only a single item remains on the staircase, a child's hand-drawn sketch of an attic, with a face peering from the darkness. The plantation's mistress, Eleanor Crowhurst, collapses into silence, whispering, "Not again. Please God, not again." The townspeople dismiss her as hysterical. But those who dare enter the plantation report something else. Cold pockets of air in empty rooms, the faint smell of burned cloth, and an overwhelming feeling of being watched. And from that moment onward, Hollowstone is never the same. The story begins decades earlier with the Crowhursts, a family obsessed with legacy. Eleanor was trained from childhood to sit straight, speak softly, obey commands, and most importantly, to produce an heir. Her father once told her, "A woman's worth is measured by the child she brings into this world." Those words burned into her mind like scripture. She married Silas Crowhurst, a man who loved wealth and appearances more than people. He wanted a boy, someone to inherit his lands, his fortune, his power. But Eleanor's body betrayed her. 7 pregnancies, 7 losses. Each miscarriage chipped away her sanity and her marriage. And each funeral was held in secret, whispered behind heavy curtains so no neighbor could hear the sobbing. Eleanor became a ghost in her own home, drifting through hallways with shaking hands and bruised arms. Something inside her broke permanently after the 7th burial, a quiet, invisible fracture beneath her ribs. Mara arrived at Hollowstone as a teenager. Unlike the others, she carried a quiet resistance in her eyes, a strength that unnerved Eleanor. Mara wasn't afraid to hold eye contact. She wasn't submissive in the way Silas demanded. She listened, but on her own terms. When Silas realized her physical resilience and calm temperament, he assigned her to serve close to Eleanor. Eleanor resented her beauty, her youth, her unbroken spirit. But she also began to depend on it. Mara tended to Eleanor after each loss, holding cold cloths against Eleanor's face, brushing her hair, whispering comfort she didn't owe. Eleanor grew jealous of Mara's natural warmth, a warmth Eleanor believed she herself could never produce. Silas watched their dynamic with interest, calculating opportunities. His silence became the seed of something monstrous. One night, Eleanor overheard Mara humming a lullaby in the garden, the soft, rhythmic tune of a mother soothing a child she didn't have. Eleanor froze. Something twisted in her heart. She imagined her dreams, the nursery she decorated, the cradle she carved, the child that never arrived. She began to believe that Mara had been chosen, by fate, by God, by some force she could not name. Eleanor started visiting a traveling preacher who often manipulated wealthy women with spiritual solutions. He whispered to her, "Some women are meant to carry the child. Others are meant to claim it." Those words rewrote Eleanor's desperate logic, and soon she began convincing herself Mara was destined to bring her a child. Though Eleanor never said it aloud, the walls of Hollowstone heard the truth. Silas used his authority to impose conditions Mara could not refuse. Mara's voice, once filled with quiet resilience, now trembled. And when her pregnancy began to show, Eleanor's behavior transformed. She walked lighter. She breathed easier. She smiled for the first time in years, but it wasn't a healthy smile. It was the smile of obsession. She decorated the nursery again, bought new fabric for blankets, and prepared a birth certificate with her own name on it. Mara felt like she was being erased before she even gave birth. Silas justified the cruelty, saying, "This is what God wills." Mara cried at night, pressing her hands against her swollen stomach, whispering to the unborn child, "You are mine. I will not forget you." It was storming the night Isaac was born. The wind howled against the shutters, and rain pounded the roof like fists. Mara labored in a dark attic, not a proper birthing room, because Eleanor said this must remain unseen. Mara screamed through the night, her voice cracking, echoing down the stairs. Eleanor paced below, trembling with exhilaration, fear, and an unhinged anticipation. When the child's first cry pierced the air, Eleanor rushed into the attic and ripped the newborn from Mara's arms. Mara's scream, raw animalistic, shook the rafters. but Silas blocked her path. Mara collapsed, sobbing, her arms empty. Eleanor clutched the infant like a sacred relic, whispering, "My Isaac, my child." That night, the attic absorbed a new energy, one of stolen love, broken spirits, and unimaginable pain. Isaac grew hidden from the world. Eleanor kept him behind locked doors, claiming he was delicate and spiritually sensitive. He was educated privately. He never attended church, never saw the town, never played with other children. His world consisted of dim hallways, a silent dining room, and a mother whose love was suffocating. Isaac was pale, unusually quiet, with eyes that seemed too old for his age. He often stood facing corners, listening to things no one else could hear. He whispered to shadows. He drew strange symbols with charcoal, circles surrounding an eye. Eleanor believed he was gifted. Silas believed he was cursed. Mara, watching from afar whenever she could, believed he was confused and lost. A child torn between two worlds. Shortly after turning 8, Isaac began sleepwalking. Eleanor found him at the base of the attic stairs night after night, staring upward. His voice changed too, softer, rhythmic, as if repeating a lullaby Mara once sang. One night she followed him quietly. Instead of waking him, she watched him ascend the stairs barefoot, eyes half open, whispering, "She's calling me." Eleanor panicked. She grabbed him, shaking him awake, screaming, "You belong to me, only me." Isaac blinked, confused, terrified, not by the attic but by Eleanor's violence. Something shifted inside him. Eleanor realized she could not control the unseen force drawing Isaac toward the truth. Mara aged with quiet sorrow. She lived in shadows, avoiding Eleanor's gaze but never stopped watching Isaac from afar. She knew he felt her presence too. Sometimes Isaac paused mid-step, turning in Mara's direction even when her face was hidden behind curtains. There was a bond, silent, invisible, but strong. Mara left tiny tokens for him, carved wooden animals, scraps of cloth sewn into shapes, messages written in symbols only he would understand. Isaac collected them in secret. Eleanor found one once and burned it, screaming at Isaac until he fell into a trembling panic. Mara heard that scream from across the house. It carved a new scar in her heart. Eleanor's grip on reality deteriorated. She began locking doors, boarding windows, and sitting awake with candles burning around Isaac's room. She believed Mara was witching the boy, pulling him away with invisible threads. She prayed louder, cried harder, repeated affirmations that twisted into delusions. "He is mine. He was given to me. I deserve him." Servants whispered about Eleanor's instability. Silas drank more heavily to escape her madness. He once pushed her away so violently she hit a wall. Eleanor screamed until dawn, claiming demons were trying to steal her child. The plantation became a pressure cooker of paranoia. At age 12, Isaac finally defied Eleanor. While she slept, he climbed the attic stairs alone. Moonlight filtered through cracks in the roof, illuminating objects covered in dust. His birth cradle, a blood-stained cloth, the Bible from that stormy night. He touched everything with trembling fingers. And then he heard a voice, Isaac, soft, broken, aching. He turned toward the far corner and saw an outline, not a ghost but a memory carved into the walls. Mara's voice echoed through time, a moment trapped in energy. Isaac fell to his knees, crying, "Tell me who I am." The silence that followed was more painful than any scream. Isaac burst into Eleanor's bedroom at dawn, his face streaked with dust and tears. "Tell me the truth." Eleanor froze. Years of repression crumbled. She confessed everything, the forced surrogacy, the attic birth, the lies. She begged forgiveness, clinging to Isaac's legs. But Isaac recoiled, horrified. "You stole me," he whispered. Eleanor begged, sobbing, grabbing his arms. "You were meant for me. God chose you for me." Isaac ran. Down the stairs, into the fields, toward the woman who felt like a memory he never had. Mara was in the garden when Isaac appeared. She knew instantly. She didn't need words. They stared at each other, mother and child separated by 12 years of silence. Then she fell to her knees and cried. Isaac rushed to her, collapsing into her arms. They held each other tightly, trembling, the pain of years dissolving into relief. Mara whispered, "I never forgot you." Isaac whispered back, "I've been looking for you my whole life." Silas saw them from the porch and exploded with rage. He stormed forward, shouting threats, accusing Mara of bewitching the boy. Isaac shielded her. Silas raised his hand to strike. Isaac shouted, "I'm not yours!" Those words struck Silas like a blow. He grabbed Isaac. Mara grabbed Silas. Eleanor stumbled out of the house, screaming incoherently. Cold wind rose violently. The sky darkened. In the chaos, candles toppled inside the house. The drapes caught fire first. Flames spread quickly. Smoke poured from broken windows. Eleanor, delirious, ran back into the burning house, screaming Isaac's name. Silas chased after her. The fire swallowed the entrance. Mara pulled Isaac away, running through the fields as the plantation roared behind them like a dying beast. Hollowstone burned all night. Townspeople watched from afar but refused to help. No one dared enter the Crowhurst property at the height of madness. By sunrise, only a charred frame remained. Silas's body was found near the collapsed staircase. Eleanor was never found, only fragments of her dress. Some said she perished in the flames. Others claimed they saw her wandering the forest, calling Isaac's name in a broken whisper. A traveling preacher found Mara and Isaac hiding in the woods. He brought them food, water, and finally safety. Mara kept Isaac close, refusing to let him out of her sight. Isaac didn't speak for days. Finally, he whispered, "I remember everything now." Mara kissed his forehead. They disappeared into the world together, mother and son reclaiming what was stolen. That traveling preacher kept a journal. One entry said, "No house built on stolen blood will stand forever, and no child claimed by lies will remain silent." He insisted Hollowstone was cursed, not by spirits, but by human cruelty. He believed the land absorbed everything, every scream, every lie, every broken heart. The town buried the incident. Records erased. Witnesses silenced. Hollowstone's remains were left untouched. Over time, grass grew over the ashes. Trees reclaimed the land, and the story of Isaac became a whisper, passed between elders who warned children never to go near the ruins. Today, Hollowstone is nothing but dirt and decayed stone. But some claim they still hear a woman's voice on humid summer nights. Some say they see a pale boy drawing circles in the dust. Whether the spirits remain or not, the truth is clear. Some secrets must never be buried. Some stories demand to be remembered, and the cries of a stolen child echo forever.